it, guys? Welcome to South African Motorcyclist's first YouTube video on our YouTube channel. Unfortunately, obviously due to lockdown and stuff like that, we haven't been able to get out to do a better presentation on this bike. So please do excuse the background setting at the moment. It's the best that we've got available to us during this pandemic and stuff like that. Hope you guys are keeping safe. Hope you guys are keeping sanitized, washed and all of that. So, first off, I just want to say a very big thank you to Honda South Africa for obviously giving us access to their fleet bikes, as well as Talk the Talk, the guys that manage the fleet for Honda South Africa. They've done a bang-up job of keeping the Honda fleet in absolute tip-top condition. And yeah, so guys, today's beastie, the Africa Twin. Let me just double check. Yes, that is the 2020 Honda Africa Twin. It's the CRF 1100. This one in particular, you'll notice if you look at the bottom there isn't a gear lever. This is the DCT model, which is automatic. Brilliant bike. We've had it now for just short of a week. We've managed to get a little bit of video footage for you guys, as you guys will see further on in the video and stuff like that. We had it tested by Jono, who gave us a first ride impression. We had Charles Swartz also doing a little bit of dirt riding on it and stuff like that for us to give us a bit of feedback on how it handles, not just on the road but off the road as well, which is what you want out of these, as the South African market so well knows. We call them stuffed donkeys, dust donkeys for the English speaking guys in our audience. So I'm going to take you guys through a bit of a crash through of the actual bike itself before we go into the more detailed review and look at it. And the main question at this point on our side is, in terms of like a fleet vehicle, if you want to call it that, would it make more sense to buy a Ford Ranger Bucky for a fleet vehicle for sight guys and stuff like that, or would it make more sense to buy an Africa Twin? Retailing at 305,000 Rand at the moment, according to Honda SA's website. You can obviously, you should be able to get a little bit of a better deal, depending obviously on what you're going for and stuff like that. Not a lot of optional extras per se. This one's in particular doesn't have a lot of extras on it. This is pretty much base model, standard model as you get it, which is already pretty well fully spec'd. It's obviously got the heated grips, it's got cruise control, it's got the automatic / Tiptronic gearbox and stuff like that. Full color screen, touch screen. There is, I think it's Apple CarPlay that's already installed on the system. You can upgrade it for the Google guys and stuff like that. The only problem with the Google thing, unfortunately, is that you need to connect your phone permanently, which is a bit of a pain in terms of the USB. So yeah, so I'm going to take you guys through the dashboard quickly, and then we'll go into a further better review of the actual bike, first ride impression from Jono, like I said, and then obviously a little bit of dirt riding video footage and stuff like that from Shoal. Pretty much all the dirt is on Shoal. And then yeah, like I said, the big question is, what makes more sense? The Ford Ranger single cab, double cab, whatever, for a guy that works on sites and stuff like that, or would something like this make more sense, practicality wise, fuel consumption and all the basics. Cool. So coming up next, I'll take you guys through on a quick walkthrough on the dashboard and all of that stuff, so you guys can get a look-see, a nice closer look at what all you're looking at in terms of this thing.
So here we go, an automatic motorcycle. This is going to be phenomenal. Where's this oak? Okay. Okay, no clutch. Trying to grab the clutch already. Doesn't use the indicator. Okay, it's changing gears like my car. It's too weird. Alright. Welcome, people. This is interesting, but yeah, welcome to the channel. Today we are on a 2021, I think, Africa Twin. I'm just gonna close my visor a bit. 2021 Africa Twin, a DCT. There's a lot of buttons. I've literally not even looked at the bike. I've literally just got on it, so riding impression is going to be as raw as it comes. So first impression, screen seems nice and clear. Handlebars are a little bit lower than my GS, sort of bent downwards. As you can see, I'm sure it's adjustable. Screen is okay. I'm not getting a lot of flutter at 120 k's an hour, so it's not sort of buffering onto me. Let's see if I whack it. Oh, it's got a lot of power. It's definitely not lazy. It's got a plethora of buttons everywhere, so that's going to take some interesting figuring out. So that where my clutch is, apparently that's the parking brake, so I mustn't grab onto that mistakenly. That's always concerning. And yeah, it seems solid. I mean, we're on a nice smooth road, so a bit hard to tell, but it's real solid. Looks like there's a little USB thing there. I don't know where the indicators are, so you know. I don't know where the indicators are. I'm trying to find them. On this thing. No, that doesn't do it. No, it doesn't do it. I think down here. Oh, there we go. I found them. Alright, hidden. Okie dokie. So we found the indicators, so we can at least be. So pretty much when you start the bike, while it's on the stand and it's in neutral, it won't let you do anything. You get up, you pull the stand in, and then you press the drive button, and she'll just engage first. So I've always been curious about this, what it means for, you know, to ride a bike that doesn't require gears. I'm not sure that I'm quite sold on it, but you know, let's give it a go. Power seems there. I mean, it's definitely not lazy. It's got power. Hello. There's a lot of. Okay, it's getting a bit noisy. A very, very cold winter's morning this morning, but I'm warming up, so I'm not quite awake yet. I have no idea what these things on the screen mean, but it's clear, definitely clear, and yeah, let's get into it and see. So I'm not going to talk about pricing just yet. I'm going to try to slow down. Hopefully this wind isn't too bad. Let's talk about pricing for a little bit. I understand, I'm not, actually I could be corrected. So I'll put on the screen the price, because I don't want to misquote. Look, today any new adventure bike, any new super bike, any new anything, I suppose, is, you know, for us mere mortals, expensive, and you know, it takes some change. So making a decision on what it is that you want to buy and ride is always going to be important. Okay, still looking for the clutch, but I'm not going to look for the clutch. And you should see it change down gear. 5, 4, 3, 2, and go. I mean, it's interesting, it's so smooth. I mean, I'm gonna give it that. You know, I mean, even with, you know, we're all used to, you know, up and down quick shifters or whatever you want to call them, but you know, on the GS it's a great quick shifter system, and but you feel it when you trying to get this right. When I have a pillion with my wife on the back of the GS, you barely feel the shifter. When I'm alone, I think with the less weight on the bike, it tends to, you can feel the gear change sort of clack. But this is incredibly smooth, and it hops up to 6 real quick. It doesn't stick around in any other gear, so it's not going down, up, down, up, down, up. There, accelerate, and it just sort of just does what it needs to do. So that is interesting and quite surprisingly nice. I like that. That is interesting. So it's got quite a wide frontal area, and I'm getting a lot of no wind on my legs, or at least a minimal amount of wind on my legs, which is also nice. I'm supposed to go there. See, already on my foot's going for the gear. Look, the TFT is clear, like it's super clear, and it's a nice, where's the indicator? It's a nice sort of area. I think that little speedo screen's a bit weird, but I'm told that it's like a safety thing. If you can't see the TFT for some reason, which I find very strange, because why would you not? But anyway, so that's there to kind of just in case you can't see your screen or the screen fails, or I don't know. Let's see how she handles this. Oh, she's a bit stiff, eh? A bit stiffer than the GS, but she's also new. I mean, look, these bikes are well capable. You know that they could do anything. I don't think you're going to get but pretty much all these sort of high-end adventures are going to give you you know, capable for whatever it is that you're trying to do. And you've got obviously massive fans of these bikes, and I can see why. They are pretty awesome. I want to know if you can do the suspension. That'll be interesting if we can do the suspension. I think one of the things I want to do on this is get, you know, sort of a little twisty. So balanced, so easy. I'll give it that. It's got a very sort of friendly feel. I think you can feel the center of gravity isn't the same as the BM. I'm trying to compare it to the BM. As the BM is I ride every day. You know, and I've ridden quite a few KTMs, and they're amazing bikes. But I think today we're interested to see how this compares, because you know, you've got two big players in the game, and you know, it's hard to compete with those bikes with their sales and their technology and the backing that they have. But Honda's no small fry, so let's see what we get. I mean, it's super solid, and I mean, the seat's comfy enough. It doesn't feel like it's grabbing into anything. I'm definitely a fluffy guy, so you know, oh god, I'm looking for gears. I suppose it's going to take a real while to to get used to the, you know, not changing down and up and stuff. It's super weird. So I'm gonna put a little bit of sportiness, so it immediately drops a gear. Seeing it change down. Okay, so now it holds the gear. Okay. Okay, so now it holds the gear, and it gets a little excited. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so there's all the juice. So the juice is there. Definitely a lot more, a lot revvier, a lot sprightly. At least the mode change is different. So you get a lot of bikes that you do change the modes, and then it's kind of, it's not very apparent on the difference. Like, it's there, you know it's different, but it's not like it's bursting with information. It just kind of, oh, okay, you know, the ABS is a bit kicking in a bit more, or the traction control, you know, especially on your super bikes. As soon as you don't really feel it when you're wringing its neck, kind of the difference as well, at least for me anyway. Whereas, you know, this I'm definitely seeing, see a difference when you put it into sport mode. Okay, I'm gonna close my lid a little bit, so hopefully you can hear me. It's pretty windy. No wash for bicycles. That's the only thing, you know, we all share the road, but there is lanes for the bikes. It would be nice if they stayed in them. See, it soaked that up really good, and yeah, I'm impressed. I'm super impressed. See, your instinct is to now downshift, but luckily in sport mode it's getting a little excited and it's downshifting for you. It's a pity there's so many cars. Shoo! So the sport mode definitely makes the throttle, you can see I'm like getting jerked around. It's definitely got at least enough sensitivity, which is quite nice. I like a bike that reacts quickly, sort of sensitive throttles and stuff. Not too sensitive, I don't need it like twitchy, but I like it when I know that if I just make a change, it's there. So that is definitely a nice feature of it. I definitely would like to know more about the infotainment and adjusting of ABS and, you know, that kind of thing. Let's get past this, yeah. So, okay, that's the interesting thing. So one of the things that I've always found big adventure bikes will do is on hard braking they'll nosedive, and that's a nice thing about BM, that it doesn't do that. See, it's just very sprightly, definitely got power. So yeah, this nosedives under braking, which is, I mean, you know, it's got a very long travel front, and I don't know the specs, and I don't want to pretend to know the spec. This is a first impression video. This is not, you know, a full in-depth technical overview and bike capability, comparative test and all that great stuff. There's plenty on YouTube. You're going to find plenty of information. This is just an SA's version of what it's like to jump on one of these for the very first time. I literally know nothing about it. and I've never ridden a DCT before, and you can see I've gotten used to it sort of within 20 minutes, so it's pretty incredible. Yeah, I understand it is possible to wheelie them. I have no idea how. I'm definitely not going to try because I like clutching up, and there's no clutch, so couldn't tell you. Good morning. Bob my head 100 times. Hello, 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 hello. So I'll see you guys in a bit. I'm going to test it a little bit more and then come back to you all.
Alright guys, here we go. We're going to turn this key on quickly so we can light up the screen. And the first thing you notice is that nice Honda Africa Twin emblem popping up and stuff like that. The first portion of the actual screen bothers me a little bit. You're going to see now it obviously gives you the please ride responsibly, use the system only. Let me actually give you a read through there. The rider is responsible for safe operation of this vehicle. Use the system only when traffic conditions permit. For further details, see your manual, and you have to push OK. Every single time that this thing comes up, you have to push OK. It's a bit of a pain, especially considering the fact that even if you turn it on and you start riding, it stays on that until you've pushed OK, until you've acknowledged the fact that you need to read the user manual, which, let's be honest, who actually still does? In particular though, with this bike, you're gonna have to read the manual because we'll get into it shortly, but there's a lot involved in terms of this dashboard. So a lot of people have asked me as well, you know, in terms of the dual screens, and I was a little bit confused about it myself as well, until I actually rode the bike itself with the sun behind me. As soon as the sun hits this screen, you don't actually see much, so it's a bit of a problem. You can't see what speed you're doing and stuff like that. That's where this screen comes in. So obviously, as soon as riding condition doesn't allow you to see what's happening on this screen, however, takes over, and it gives you your basic stuff: speed, obviously what gear you're in, and your total kilometers. Okay, so moving over to the right hand side of the stalk or of the handlebar, there are buttons for days. There is enough buttons here. Let me just turn that light on there for you guys so that you can check. So unfortunately, yeah, Honda doesn't exactly give you the greatest in terms of functionality, in terms of usability. They don't have a very user-friendly function here. Obviously your enter button, your back button, left, right, and obviously up, down. These two buttons have absolutely no effect unless your phone is connected onto the Bluetooth system. So those are obviously just skip song, next song, previous song, stuff like that. Then you got your answer call function and your function option, which we'll get to shortly, as well as your standard passing light and high beam. Obviously with the DCT model, you have the Tiptronic option. So you have your plus button, which is actually very nicely located. It's very easy to get to. Gloves and all. Jono, you'll notice, had a lot of fun. He couldn't find the minus, the down button. That's obviously on your manual as well. So you'll go down on your gearing and you'll go up on your gearing there if you're in the manual drive. Going over to the right hand side of the stalk, standard issue, start stop. This is now your function option button here. Sorry, my hand got in the way there for a second, which we'll go into as well. It doesn't give you a lot of options, but yeah. That's your drive option. So that'll put the bike into drive or sport mode. You have 3 settings obviously on your sport mode. Put it back into neutral, and this obviously being your manual option, as well as your speed control setting. So you'll obviously push your speed controller on and you'll set it and stuff like that. Very straightforward, very simple on that aspect. However, we've sat and played with it a little bit, and there's a lot involved. I'm going to turn that flash off quickly so that the screen can balance out again. Alright, so coming onto the screen, you're going to see that there's a lot of options. You obviously got your standard Trip A computer. Then you have your Trip B computer, as well as instantaneous consumption, liters per 100, your range, your voltage, your date. And then this nice little option here allows you to, this nice little option here allows you to obviously go into it by pressing the enter button. You can set your traction control level, as well as your anti-wheelie for the more hooligan in you. And using the user one option, you can preset your suspension, because it's obviously got the electronic suspension system in it now. You can preset your suspension settings for a single rider, a rider with a pillion, rider pillion baggage, or rider baggage, and you can set your preload and stuff like that. So you obviously have your engine power setup, your engine braking setup, which is actually you don't think about it, but it's a really nice little thing to play with. What that does is that controls how aggressively your engine brakes. Your traction control settings, your gravel control setting on or off, your ABS on or off, and then this obviously indicates your suspension in terms of what you have your setting on your suspension, being soft, medium, or hard. So let's take you guys through the standard modes. Alright, so now we have, so your standard modes on the motorcycle are obviously tour mode. Tour mode, you can see it drops down your power. Tour mode, you can see drops your power from the engine right down low. You don't need all that power, and it sets your suspension to a hard setting, which is good enough to cover just about any type of riding. Then your next preset is urban riding. So it gives you a little bit more power for that quick burst through traffic. Your engine braking is still set to a pretty much medium. Your traction control is set nice and high. Your ABS is on, and your suspension setting on urban is medium. Gives you a nice clean clock. Literally just a tachometer and kilometers an hour. Going over to the gravel mode. So the gravel mode pretty much gives you the exact same type of setup that you would have in your urban. The only difference is that now you have full response from the engine in terms of power. Your engine braking is also set to full to the full setting. Your traction control remains the same. Your ABS goes off, and your suspension goes to a soft setting. Then you have the full tilt off-road. So full tilt off-road, it gives you 3/4 of the power band. It obviously turns off your ABS as well. It gives you it gives you the same amount of traction control, but then it sets your suspension specifically for off-road. You then have the option of doing a user one. Okay. You then have an option of doing a user one setup. So with the user one, you can set it up exactly how you would like. I'll take you guys through all the screens and stuff like that a little bit just now. And you have a user two, which is your own predefined. Let's take you into that. So we're going to settings, function, user modes, user one. So now I'm going to give you guys a quick crash through there of what you can set in your personal user setup. You can obviously select how much power the motor is delivering, how much engine braking you have. You then have how much your overall suspension dampening is going to react, your front suspension dampening, your rear suspension dampening, your ABS, be it on or off, depending on what you would like for that user preference. Then you have your preload just for the rider, a preload for a rider with cargo, preload for a rider and passenger, and then preload for a rider, passenger and cargo, which you can obviously change whenever you would like. You have 2 user options that you can set up exactly how you would like. Going over to the display. So on the display mode, you can choose how you would like the bike to display on the screen. You have 3 settings. So that's full information screen. You then have a basic tachometer and speed with all your controls up, or you have just a flat tachometer and your speed will obviously display on the bottom screen. And that you can change regardless of what mode you select. You can actually select that on your side. You can also set the brightness of your screen. This one's set on auto at the moment, and you can select the background and either set it on auto. So what auto would do is that during the day you'll be running with a white background on the screen, and as soon as it goes to evening side, as soon as the bike senses that it's getting dark, it goes over to a black screen. As you guys can see, there's a lot of options in terms of your phone connectivity, your media connectivity, as well as further settings. Alright guys, so that's the Africa Twins user interface. Unfortunately, not very user friendly. I know we've been chatting about it and stuff like that on our side. It takes quite a pilot's license in order to set the thing up. Look, once you've gotten a little bit used to it and stuff like that, it is quite simple to use, but it's just to get used to it, which is quite a tricky thing. Going over to the function button, so if you push your function button on your right bar, you have your heated grip setting, you have your headlight setup for either auto or manual, and then if you connect your phone, obviously you can select. If you connect your media, your phone and your I'm gonna restart that. Okay, so going over to the right hand side, if I select the function, if I push the function button, it gives me heated grip, it gives me the lights, the headlights for auto or manual, and it gives me the volume control for whatever device is connected. Okay. The bike comes standard with a 12-volt normal cigarette port, as well as, if I open up this nice little piece of rubber here, it comes with a nice water-sealed USB port there. That's for your software updates as well as connecting your phone. You can charge your phone off of that as well.
So what makes more sense, the Ford Ranger or the Honda Africa Twin?